Good morning, everybody. Wanted to do a quick follow-up to the part 20. This will be part 21, because I know I got sidetracked on some stuff, and sorry about that. And, a lot of times, it just kind of unorganized and go off on different subjects, and that's why I said I want to get organized someday, and maybe do stick to one subject. So anyway, when I was talking about Babylon fallen, and what city that was and stuff, so maybe at that time in the Revelation he was referring to the fall of Jerusalem, and that it was and was not, and then would be again. Because original Babylon in Iraq was destroyed, and if you go to the book of Daniel, he tells Nebuchadnezzar, I believe it's Nebuchadnezzar, what will be the end of his kingdom and stuff. So, if he was talking about that when it was destroyed, way back when, that was the description, or if he was talking way in the future. I know most people in Revelations, they say that part in Revelations, Babylon is fallen. That's something that's going to take place in the future. I'm not so sure if it means that or not, and if who knows, maybe the way the world's going and stuff, there could be nations come and go, empires come and go. Everything how we see it now could be totally changed around, and maybe Babylon rise again. But one of the connections with Babylon is the Jews were taken there, and while they were there, they were kind of enamored with the Babylonians and the city and the gardens and all these things. And part of the covenant with God, with Allah, was that they didn't learn the ways of the peoples around them. They didn't seek their gods or their mysticisms or any of that kind of stuff. They were to look to Him to be their God and to provide and all those things. And so they're in Babylon, they get enamored with this society and stuff. And one of the things the Babylonians did, just like the Egyptians did, they practiced sorcery. If you go to the book of Enoch, he talks about those who taught men these crafts and these black arts and stuff and everything. And so here the Jews are in Babylon, and they see these types of things and stuff and everything. So in the Quran, it tells Allah sent two angels to test the Jews to see if they would remain faithful. And the angels, they had to warn them first. They told them this is a test from Allah to see if you'll be faithful or if you'll go chasing after things you're not supposed to. And they told them, they teach them this magic, and so many of them decided they wanted to learn that kind of stuff. And so even today in Israel and other places around the world, Jews practice that Kabbalism or whatever, and some other things, and they have a lot of texts, and they've always, because Solomon, who was wise and given authority to do it, had control over the jinn and stuff like that, and so they always look for his ring, because they say that's what gave him the power to do those things and stuff. But anyway, so they've got a lot of things in their religion to where they can get angels to do things for them and stuff like that. And So, this Babylon, maybe it's not actually going to be like, it's not referring to actual city of Babylon, but the culture, the practices, and things like that are put in place in another city, whether that's Jerusalem or somewhere else. That's because some people even refer to Rome. People refer to America because we got the space program, and one of the things in, Allah destroyed the Tower of Babel. They said they wanted to climb to heavens and behold God and stuff. And we've even had, I think, John Kennedy and Reagan even referring to the space programs, getting to space and to I think one of them said something like touch the face of God or something like that. But so a lot of people refer to America as Babylon. A lot of people refer to it as Egypt spiritually. Like even Rome, they got artifacts and stuff they took from Egypt and brought there, in the monoliths and stuff, and we've got the Washington Monument and all kinds of obelisks and stuff like that are directly linked to Egypt and stuff. So this resurgence of Babylon could be just that type of culture and false religion and stuff, because it says by their sorceries, stuff. The kings of the earth are made rich and stuff like that. So that could refer, to the resurgence of Israel and the things they practice and stuff. And and it's a given here in America anyway. All politicians, everyone who runs for president, they travel to Israel and pledge support to Israel, and the beast is, gives out these kingdoms and stuff. So kind of make those connections. But you said it takes a lot further study. But one of the things, sorceries and stuff, looking at the Kabbalism and stuff like that, you can see it in evangelical Christianity too. I saw one guy, he swore up and down he raised a guy from the dead in Africa and stuff. And you watch that guy Benny Hinn doing his phony miracles and stuff. Well, that's sorcery. And when they run around, across the stage telling them, God has given them a word and that you need to donate $20,000, and that's sorcery. They're lying. And that's part of sorcery, is lying. And then you can look at if NASA and science and everything is distorting the actual physical realities of the creation and putting their ideas out there as the truth and stuff, that's sorcery too. Sorcery isn't just like a magic trick and stuff. It's a whole thing. Pharaoh had his sorcerers and stuff. And their culture, a large portion of it believed a dung beetle moved the sun across the sky. So cultures and stuff, people can be just especially if they're isolated, just trained up in ways that are just it's a matrix. It's so far from the truth that but they believe it because it's what everybody else around them believes, and it's what they're told, and each generation is told and told and told. So that's in religion. You got the Trinity and the Nicene Creed matrix to break there, because that's not true. So I wanted to retouch on that, and I started to talk about, like the animation NASA and stuff shows now. Well, they always used to show animation because they didn't have cameras up in space and going to Mars and stuff, and no real live pictures. So all before the probes and stuff supposedly go up there, You know, you're always showing these animations of what Mars is supposed to look like. What Mars is supposed to look like. No one had been there or nothing, seen it. You know, just an artist rendering. This is what, you know, we think it looks like. And lo and behold, when the probes finally go up there and everything, start taking pictures, what do you know? It's just like all those drawings they showed for, you know, decades, hundreds of years even, you know, going way back. What people thought, and it's like, well, so there's kind of a coincidence, ain't it? You know, they prep your mind with these, well, we better show them, you know, that it looks like what we said it was going to look like. Anyhow, so, you know, the source, and that's in the Revelations, it says, you know, men won't give up their sorceries and their blasphemies and all these other things. And so you got to be aware about society, because it's taking place now. So, you know, a lot of people act like, you know, these are all things in the future. It's taking place now. So I just wanted to update on that and give a little clarification. And because I know that part 20 there, I kind of went off and different and left unfinished thoughts there, you know, about Babylon. Then I went into about, you know, how the sun and stuff is moving. But so, you know, Mystery Babylon there, you know, it could be, you know, what some scholars say it is now and this and then. It could be totally something different to come way in the future. But you know, there are clues and stuff, and I said that's one of the things people blow off religion and stuff, and there's quite a lot of, whether you look into the history and the building and falling of societies and empires, and you know, the scriptures of you know, how men are supposed to be and stuff. There's a lot of detective work in connecting the dots, and it's like that period after the when they say the crucifixion happened, and that period there when Jesus, before he, you know, went up into heaven, like how long was he still here before he went up to heaven? Where did the other apostles go? What did they do? You know, what kind of more of accounts are there about, you know, Rome destroying Jerusalem? Because like we're told, you know, that's the Temple Mount over there now, but there's if you go to Brother Nathaniel and watch a video of his on YouTube called Satan at the Wailing Wall, he says that Josephus, the historian Josephus, said that when the Romans destroyed the temple, you could, even if you had known where it was, there was nothing left of it. You couldn't tell where it was. That and you know, Jesus, peace be upon him, you know, said, you know, there'll be not one. Don't marvel at the buildings, because there won't be one single stone left standing. Because, you know, he warned the Jews, the Romans are there to kill and destroy, and that they needed to follow him and return to their religion so that God would save them from this destruction. And, you know, so they didn't do it, and then Rome was destroyed just like, or not Rome, Jerusalem was destroyed just like he said it would be, and, you know, the Romans destroyed the temple. So the historian Josephus says they built a garrison there, and it's called Anatolia or something like that, and that's what Brother Nathaniel says. He says that's not the Temple Mount. He says that was a Roman garrison that was built afterward. So, and then you got all these people saying, look at the Temple Mount, that might be a Roman fort. It's not the temple. But so anyway, you know, and there was a lot more destroyed during the Crusades. You know, you got all the things about, you know, the Knights Templar, you know, how they went from being you know, these taking vows of poverty and all this and everything like that, to being rich, and they're the ones who started the banks, and that they found stuff in Solomon's temple and all this stuff. So there's a lot of stuff out there, and but that was one of the most pivotal times in human history, and we know a lot more about other things than we do that time, as common knowledge. I mean, that's, you got all kinds of books on the world wars and movies and things and all this and everything, but that the time, what happened in world history in those areas there, the first couple hundred years after Jesus, peace be on him, was taken up to heaven. How long was he here after the crucifixion event, before he was taken into heaven? Because if you go by the Gospels, when he's taken into heaven by the angels, they're asked, the witnesses there to it are asked, why do you wonder? In the same way you see him being taken up, you'll see him return. And he's speaking to them directly. People say, that's a reference for what we'll see in the end and stuff, but that's a direct thing to them. And that's like when Jesus, peace be upon him, tells the apostles, and they'll be able to do the same things he did. He's talking to them, but these preachers run around like, well, he's talking to all of us, so we can all go and heal. No, especially not if you're not teaching right, and you're teaching Trinity stuff, and you're teaching that he's the Son of God, or God in the flesh. That he's God, and calling him Lord. No, you're not going to be able to do any of that stuff, because you're not even on the right teaching. So there's things they take out of context, that a certain person is being spoken to or promised something, and they translate that to mean for everybody. And if it says to that, you got to look at the context of it. They're speaking directly to somebody or something, or it's being meant in generality for everybody. But so there's a lot of very interesting things. Religion isn't all just do this, don't do that. There's a lot of very amazing facts, and like they say, the truth will set you free. I mean, if you read the Gospel of Barnabas, and especially if you read the Quran, because the Quran is the absolute truth, you get a whole different perspective on like I say, it's like breaking the matrix, and you see everything in a different light, and understand things better. So anyway, I wish you all the best out there. I just wanted to go over some of those things. I know there's probably some other things I forgot, but I got to go take care of business here and get this load off, and I'm sure if I have some time later and a clear mind, I'll listen to what I said again on that one, and go back over anything that I wanted to touch on again. There'll be a part 22. But y'all be safe out there. Assalamu alaikum. And remember, two most important words you can never say is Allah Akbar. And be safe. Always go home to your families. All right. Adios.